So, let's get started. Kicking off with number 5, we have Brimstone. I decided to give Brimstone this position because to me, he's a really well balanced agent and has some awesome potential for team synergy whenever the meta really kicks in. That is something to take into account though, since there is no ranked matchmaking yet in Valorant and there is still no viable platform to have data to dive into and draw more accurate conclusions about the openness of agents in Valorant's current meta, we have to do some extrapolation here and there. So, back to Brimstone. He's got an ease for cutting rushes and aiding in retakes of sites, which is probably one of the most difficult things in the game, and even coordinating pushes. All this thanks to his abilities. Probably the least powerful of them is the Steam Beacon, which buffs whatever allies are in its area of influence by increasing the fire rate of their current gun. This may not be the best thing, especially for newer players, since this will affect the spray, so you really have to take that into consideration while using the Steam Beacon. His other 3 abilities are what we think makes him worthy of this listing, especially Sky Smoke, which gives you 3 very precise smoke charges with a pretty long range. This eliminates some of the skill shot required for other kinds of smoking abilities. Incendiary is awesome at stopping pushes or getting people out of good spots. Its damage over time is good, but the valuable thing is that it can be bounced, so it can be thrown from cover, which is one of its stronger features. And finally, his ult, Orbital Strike, which is great for site control, whether you're pushing it or defending it. Its large AoE and high damage output is a great way to make sure that a certain section of the map is clear of enemies, and that is something few other agents are capable of in that manner. Number 4 is Phoenix. This might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, however, I do think Phoenix has potential to be super strong in clutch situations, or even being the entry fragger due to his skill set having plenty of self-sustain and entry granting abilities, such as his curveball, that is super strong for clearing out corners. Even if the flash is short, it compensates by being pretty much a pop flash, and it is thrown in the most optimal way for clearing out corners and not getting yourself blinded. And the sustain of this agent is amazing, because it works as damage and also a way of healing himself, or blocking enemy vision. Even if Blaze and Hot Hands don't have the highest damage output, they really do compensate by also healing Phoenix, as well as his ult, Run It Back, is basically having a free respawn when you are in a numbers disadvantage, or you are unaware of players' positions. Number 3 on our list is Soba. This guy is a balance between recon and damage. The effectiveness of his abilities heavily depend on having really good intel on the enemy's position or using your abilities in the correct order, since Soba can pretty much recon and then take down enemies all by himself, given the right setting. His ult drone is expensive, however it is super valuable information that gives you and your team, since you can tag any enemy with it and have it be visible for your whole team. And it is pretty much the same story with the recon bolt. However, this can actually last longer if the enemy doesn't destroy it, and it doesn't lock you in place and can reveal more than one enemy at a time. And the damaging part of Soba is pretty versatile, since you can pretty much remain in cover or hit unaware enemies with it, especially with the shock bolt. Even if the damage isn't too high, the way the arrow can be bounced will lead into some high level game dynamics that pretty much no other agent can do. The same applies to his ult, Hunter's Fury, which can 2-shot any enemy across half of the map and can hit multiple enemies, which is kind of absurd. Number 2 is Cypher, the best agent to make a push or a retake of a site a living nightmare for your enemies. The way his abilities let you fortify a position and also double as markers for knowing where the enemy is truly unmatched. Starting with the tripwire, which is invisible to enemies and tethers them and even damages them if they don't destroy the tripwire on time. Cyber Cage is a slowing smoke, which doesn't really bring anything to the table on the detection side of things. However, it can be triggered at any time, and this just keeps adding to the fortification potential of this agent. The spy cam adds an extra layer in the fortification department and also gives out intel to all of your allies, in a similar manner like Soba's drone does. Then there is his ult, Neural Theft, which it is like literal wall hacks when you use it. It reveals all of the enemy's positions when you scan an enemy's dead body. His abilities in a separate way might not be that powerful, but the combination of the 4 have proven to be really strong. He might not be flashy like other agents in this listing, but the intel and utility it gives, it is top notch. And the most OP agent on our list may or may not be on your mind already, but of course, we're talking about Sage for our number 1 spot. To me, she's one of the most versatile agents here. Her lack of mobility gets compensated by the amount of crowd control and sustain she gives to herself and the team. That is what makes her unique, being able to share the sustain. That shared sustain is given by free, a 35-second cooldown ability called Healing Orb that can be used on Sage herself or any of her allies that are on her line of sight. This ability pretty much has infinite range. You only need to be able to put your crosshair over your ally and apply the heal. This is a heal over time. The time to apply the full heal is quite short. Her Barrier Orb is also a unique ability to Sage, since she can place a wall that must be destroyed to get through, or wait for it to fade away. It also opens the possibility for boosting up with it to otherwise impossible to reach spots. Slowing Orb is great for holding a position and preventing enemies pushing it, since it has a pretty big AoE and it applies a slow that makes the enemies give out their position by making loud stepping sounds on it. And her ult, Resurrection, is a total game changer. It allows you to resurrect a dead ally. Even though this ally only resurrects with a pistol, this can change the tide of a round massively, turning a 1v1 into a 2v1 or balancing the odds of a round. This is probably one of the most OP ults in the game. Having a dead ally come back from the dead is a total game changer in most FPS games. So, that is it for this video on the top 5 OP agents in Valorant. Let us know which is your favorite agent at the moment, or which one you despise playing against in the comment section below. Also, be sure to leave us a like if you enjoyed the video. This was Joe for Gaming Curious.